Hey, I'm Cade, and this is Cade Made, and this is part one of the back porch makeover. This very conventional 1909 back porch on our American Foursquare had been added onto, changed, augmented from what it originally was, which was very simple, but it just was in need of a little bit of attention as one last project for the summer outside. I had so many odd things like these crazy, wonderful wood awnings, but they were just a bit overwhelming and were unnecessary for our needs. So this old photograph from our old photograph collection shows the awnings probably back in the 40s. So these built-ins and everything went back a long time. But first things first, needed to take off those steps. Those were super wide steps for what we needed on this porch, and they were in a location that sort of made the upper part of that porch kind of unusable, so I thought I would take them off so that I could reuse all of the materials to make new steps in another location. One of the biggest priorities for this project was just getting the finishes correct because, for example, all of the trim on this composite decking was just done so poorly and it had just worn out to this point.
That's how many screws I got just off the stairs, and they look pretty good. Those are nice screws.
Although it's fun to get in there and go hard with your demolition, if you're going to be reusing materials, like I'm going to be reusing these stair stringers, you're going to want to, as best you can, take those things off as recklessly as possible. And sometimes you have to give it a little push and a nudge and a scoot to get it out of there. Here I'm just making a chalk line for the cut for the new location for the steps. And I'm really just guesstimating that that line is going to be flush. I can go in there a little bit more exact later and get that really flush for what will be my new fascia boards. And this is me taking off the built-in seating that was on the side of the porch on this small addition that they had added. Even the smallest demo projects create the most amazingly large piles of rubbish, but I think it's a good practice every day to clean up after yourself and create a clean workspace as much as possible. Just removing this small addition for that seat created such a wider space and gave me a lot of room to put a built-in planter that could have vines climbing on some sort of element there in the future. This work can get hard. You have to saw, you have to move, you have to sweat, you have to push, you have to pull. You have to bend, you have to contemplate. But nothing refreshes me more than a little sun tea, just water, a little sugar, some tea bags. And most of all, you need that sun tea. It's almost free. So here I'm just denailing the board, which is going to be sort of a ledger board on the side of the deck that you see exposed there. And I'm just pulling everything apart and then denailing it so I can completely reuse it. There was always a little bit of a bow to that area, so it needed some extra support.
Wow, that worked. Oh my gosh.
Learn to dance today, there's fun in your feet. A tap step or two-step for any new beat. Whirling and twirling is rhythm and grace. To learn to dance our school.
I relocated that additional support there because it actually lent itself a little bit better in height and support to the corner. And then I fine-tuned all of the edges so I could start adding the fascia boards to the surface. These boards have actually no structural necessity. It's just basically to cover up the edge of that composite decking without having to add some sort of dumb trim and try to make it look good, which it was just going to be impossible. So it's trying to get the decking to look good because wood is so expensive right now and I had no need to absolutely replace that decking yet. Part 2 of this project is going to be so much better, so make sure you like and subscribe so you can at least see that. So I took a little video taking break and I finished this to this far. So I rehung the steps, I got everything kind of wood puttied and ready to go for painting, and then it was time to take off the satellite dish. So I climbed that ladder. I made adjustments. I did my thing.
Yeah, I'm getting it. You copy that? Roger. Roger. You getting it? Are we ready to decommission the satellite dish? Power down, power down, power down. It's out.
So finally I just had to finish up the sanding. Mind you, I was not trying to get a perfect finish on this. There was a lot of paint layers that have cracked and been repainted and painted, so I'm just kind of fusing all of my putty and things into the space. And then I pulled paint that the prior owner left of the paint colors of the house and stirred them up and decided to just use those for the touch-ups because we're not repainting the house this year. I painted the columns the lighter green rather than the dark, and then all of the accent trim areas the darker green, and then as well as the base surround the darker green because it attributes structure, darker colors.
Do we all make mistakes? Oops. I guess we do. Is it because they're not looking? Is it because they're not thinking?
You know, I really have nothing to say about this except I'm an idiot because guess what I did? I stepped across it again, which means I need to end this video. So now when you walk out the back door, you're really walking out into the space. And we started with this, and now we have this. And this is better. And that's a great start. That's a great part 1 for this back porch makeover brought to you by me, Cade Made. So take a look at this, get your eyes ready for part 2. Like, subscribe. If you have any questions about what's next or what happened here or anything, just comment down below. Say hey. I'd like to hear from you. See who's out there. I finally have 200 subscribers. Thank you, 201 subscribers. That's amazing. And we'll see you soon for part 2. Thank you so much for watching this, and you just take care of yourselves and don't do what I did, except do all of the good things.